We are live. I think you mean my, I've got 3 filters, but the one that I post the most is opening orders, above ask, calls only. That's basically just like the filter you want to see people with strong buy pressure. Then I have like unusual weekly, and then I have poor man's OTM, like the ones that are like less than $1. I haven't been seeing too much crazy stuff open on these ones recently though. Got some SPY puts coming in. Those are probably a hedge. A lot of UVXY weeklies coming in. I'll post those in the channel. Somebody's taking a hedge on volatility here. These are UVXY 827 $30 calls for about 2 million.
Hey, Q's is ripping. 3 o'clock, baby.
Yeah, we bottom ticked it.
Bottom.
Top ticked Netflix and bottom ticked Q's in the same day. Knock on wood.
Fucking wild. No, I will be upset if Netflix just continue running, because then I sold the first pump. I usually like to sell the second pump, but fuck, man.
What's going on, Alan? What's Netflix doing? Netflix might push high day, so we might not have top ticked it just yet. Going on,
yeah,
native.
looks like he's about to go again.
Yeah, it's probably gonna rip because Q's is ripping.
I pray to God that Tesla actually has a good performing AI day, so it could rip SPY.
We're up 5% on our Q's position already. Not bad. Beautiful bull div. Nice little bounce off the POC. The biggest reason that I wanted to raise my order was the Momo is flashing a bottom. And the 5-minute Momo bottoms have called almost every single bottom recently. So I raised my order from 260 to 270. And we pretty much almost bottom ticked. I think the low was like 265. So if I would have left it at 260, I wouldn't have got filled. So it was a good call. But that purple, if you guys are using the Momo, the purple bottom there on the Momo, that's why I popped in. Right off the POC, right off the pivot. Putting in a little bull div as well. Really clean.
Bro, yo, this will be so sexy if we go back to 50K. The fucking Tesla will finally fucking rip if that actually happens.
Netflix almost hitting high day. You have a nice move on Bitcoin here as well. Bitcoin, if you guys remember all the levels I gave you guys on stream past few days, bouncing beautifully off that support that we put in last week. And now we're ripping all the way through these levels from last week's profile as well. 46,000 all the way up to 46.8. We're topping out on a level right now, but putting in a nice little node up here. So we could easily break through this. Break through this, then you're looking for around 47.7. Hey, Young, what's going on? Jonathan said you love the Momo, so useful. Yeah, it helps a lot, man. It really does. So far, it called the high day and the, not the low day. Well, it did call a low day too, but it called this low here as well. Pretty balanced day today. It's not exactly balanced because you have so much volume towards the high and low, but throughout the entire day, your volume is pretty much equal. What's going on, Jake? You guys remember in Discord and on stream, I told you guys I was looking for that level around 360 here on Qs for my position. We bounced right off that 360 level, almost to the low. 4-hour pivot. You also had the monthly VWAP. So monthly VWAP was there. 4-hour pivot. You think you had 50 day as well. Yeah, very close to the 50 day. There's a lot of support down here. So keep an eye on this bounce here. This could be the local bottom. I don't like IWM. I think it's still dog shit until IWM gets back above like 218, 220. This is the only scary thing about taking any positions on Qs and SPY right now is IWM. The only thing I do like is it looks like a bulldog. This could turn into a big bulldog. You have the bottom, you have the curved back, and now this could be the double bottom. So now if we pop up and then reclaim 218, 220, and then hold above that, that could be the head of the bulldog, and then we could be ripping. That's a lot of ifs, though. That's a lot of predictions. But if that exact scenario plays out, then it looks very good. And it could send SPY and Qs just blasting an all-time high. But yeah, I think the bulldog's the only positive thing you could see here. It looks even worse if you look at futures. It looks really bad on futures. That same trend line we've been watching for the past few weeks, it was an ascending triangle. We topped out, failed it, pulled back, bear flag into that level, failed it every single time, like 6 to 8 candles. And now we're nuking, so definitely not pretty. Nasdaq looks really good. Looks even better than the Qs. We need to get back above the 80 MA on Nasdaq. Right around 15,000. Bouncing off the Kaijin line on the Ichi though, that's really good. Bouncing exactly, look at that. So we front ran the 50 moving average on Qs. Like if you go to Qs, we didn't touch it. Look at Nasdaq to the penny. That is clean. That makes me feel a lot better about my Qs position. Same thing with ES. ES front ran it just barely. But we've been holding the 50 moving average the entire year. We lost it 2 times back in September and October of 2020, which were quickly recovered. Every time after that, it bounced within a day or two. This is one of those scenarios where it's if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Like this has been working almost for 2 years. It's been working for a year and a half. So, keep doing the same exact trade until it doesn't work. Look at the weekly ADMA too. The weekly ADMA is pretty close to the 50 on the daily. Holding up beautifully on ES, holding up beautifully on Nasdaq. Look at the flat top on Nasdaq weekly. Massive flat top. We lost it on Russell though. That's not good. And then we're holding it on Dow Jones. So 3 out of the 4 look pretty good. So far, beautiful bottom here on Qs. If you look at the last like 4 to 5 candles on the low, they all have bottom wicks. So the buyers were coming in pretty strong. As you can see with SPY, you had a pivot form right there, and you bounced right off of it. So with the Qs position that we took, because I'm only in about half size, it's still in a decent size position. But because I'm not in like the biggest size that I want to be in, we have to go for max profit pretty much. If it starts falling down to like 355 and we double up, then we can go for like 50% profit. So for right now, our goal is max profit. If it goes lower, we double up our size, then we can go for half profit. We're almost up 10% already, so not bad. For a long-term position being up 10% in the first 30 minutes, it's pretty good. What's going on, Rob? Dom said I made a quick scalp on Qs when he called out those bottom wicks. Yeah, very clean. If you see wicks like that when the Momo is showing a purple bottom, a very easy trade. Same exact trade it gave you on the opening candle. If you look at the opening candles, you're finding a bottom on the Momo, and then you have all these bottom wicks. Look at the 4 bottom wicks back to back. Then you bounce off the pivot. That's an easy trade. And then if you're using volume profile, that is a level from way back on July 27th, the value area low. So you could have added that as confluence, and they all told you to buy. That's why I tell you guys to use the Momo and the OTS with volume profile. They line up beautifully. Momo is 100% price action. It does not take into account volume. That's why I tell you guys to put in or use it in confluence with the OTS, because the OTS is heavily influenced by volume. The OTS is a mix of volume and price, but it's more influenced by volume. And the Momo is all price. So when you combine them, it's very powerful.
Mara just hit 32. It's ripping.
Here's the POC on Qs. We need to get back above this. Oil's starting to climb finally, so that should help the market. We've been selling off for quite some time. Almost every world index is red today, so the US market is actually doing pretty good. Yeah, all indicators are going to be delayed, because that's how indicators are built. No indicators are going to be as smooth as just reading price action. That is the downside to using indicators. Some people claim they have like leading indicators, but leading indicators, the way they're designed to predict. They're not really designed to use what price is telling you, so it's not the most reliable.
I don't know, man. That OTG bot though, 100% reliable.
Nice little bull flag here on the low time frames. No, this is not free. This is one of our paid indicators. Here we go, breaking out a POC. The volume node doesn't really end until you break the high day, is the problem. This volume node is very strong, all the way up until 365.53. So we're going to have to see a pretty strong push here to reclaim this node, which is also yesterday's node. If you notice the POC node of yesterday and actually the day before. So almost all the volume of, the whole week. So look at that, even the day before that. All the volume is around 365 to 366.11. Julian, I think you're thinking about like momentum indicators. This is a proprietary indicator. There are plenty of momentum indicators for free on TradingView, yes, but they're not this. Momo is short for momentum. So there are other momentum indicators for sure. And feel free to use those. Nothing's stopping you. POC failure so far. Look at the nasty top wicks. It's almost identical to the wicks that caused the bottom. You can see lots of sell pressure coming in when you have an area that has multiple wicks. So these like 4 top wicks back to back without any strong closes. A lot of sell pressure right there.
Wow, Netflix looks like it wants to continuation.
SPY doesn't really have that sell pressure. SPY looks a lot better than Q's here. You can see Q's is struggling. It keeps trying to go up, and it gets slapped down. Still looks very bullish though. Nice little bull flag. We want to see value above like 364.90, which is right around the POC.
Nice bounce so far from 667, $10 bounce so far on Tesla.
Yeah, looks good. Needs to get back above 680. Then you'll probably get 689. Nice little bottom on the lower day. Or a nice little pivot, I mean. You said, do day structures matter to you in your trades? If so, is there a way to guess what kind of day structure we're going to have? Do you mean like the structures that I teach, like, or that I taught? Excuse me. The capital B, the lowercase b, the capital P. Is that what you're talking about? If that's what you mean, yeah, they 100% matter, and I cover all those structures in the series. If you watch the How to Trade series, I cover all those structures and how to trade them, how to predict them. Today's structure is slightly bullish, but it's fairly balanced. Most of the volume is towards the high. The POC is towards the high. The value area high is towards the high as well, obviously. But there is no massively dominant node towards the high. If there was like a massively dominant node up here, then everything else was way smaller. This would be a much more bullish imbalance. Today is more of a balanced profile throughout the entire day. It's just slightly bullish because the most volume is towards the high.
Yo, Bitcoin's still tearing right now. Is that 47K?
Funny enough, this profile here, if you were just looking at the profile, that is actually a bullish profile. But that's why you want to look at price and the profile, because if I hide the indicators here, make it a little smoother. This is a bullish profile, but it's a bearish day because the bottom tail formed right at the end of the day, where you had a nasty sell-off. Typically on this profile, this bottom tail will be formed on the start of the day. You'll have a, like, say you'll be trending down here, and then you'll pop up, and you'll create that tail, and then you'll distribute. Creates like a bull flag. So that's a bullish day, right? The problem here is we started up here, so we ranged, and then we sold off. This is why people use TPOs. They use the time-based profiles instead of the volume-based. Because when you use a TPO, it color codes these. It's also market profile as well. You can use market profile. It color codes them based on what time of day they were created on. So this would have showed you, if you were using a TPO, that this was created on the end of the day, and this was created on the start of the day. So that would mean that we went down. That is the major benefit of using TPOs or like market profile. I don't teach those. I haven't taught those yet. I'll probably have a series on that later on. A little more complex. Did I miss the Bitcoin analysis? I talked about it a little bit. I'll go over it again. You said you mean the normal day, normal variation day, neutral day, trend day. Yeah, so stuff like that. I have kind of melded that into the shapes that I teach. It's kind of like one system for me. It's not two separate systems. I just put that into the shapes. What I mainly focus on with what you're talking about is if it's an outside day or an inside day. So like this would be considered an outside day, because the value area is outside the low of yesterday. Now, typically with outside days, you want to be engulfing completely. But this would still be considered an outside day because it's outside the low. I don't do everything like by the book. Like this, I would consider an inside day. Even though it's partially outside, almost the entire profile is inside, so I would consider that an inside day. I would have considered this an inside day, but then you had that nasty sell-off towards the low. Going back to Bitcoin, still looks really good, but you are failing a major level that I gave you guys, around 46.8. That is the last week's, I think, value area high. We bounced off the support node that last week provided. We went over this yesterday, I believe, maybe the day before yesterday. So that was a beautiful long entry. Hopefully you guys made some money on that. You could have also traded the 80% rule. So we left, excuse me, we left last week's value area. We found a little bit of value down here. Then we reclaimed it. So you could have taken this as an entry, and then you could have targeted the value area high. So that was a very good trade. Hopefully at least one of you guys caught that in here. Right now, this is creating resistance. You have resistance forming on the high of day. You have a nasty little tweezer. You are failing the value area high. But if we can get above the value area high, above 46.8, then it looks pretty good. Hold above 46.8, you're looking for 47.8. Right now, it looks very good. Hughes is trying to give you an 80% rule, but this would not be a, oh, I guess it would. Never mind. This would still be an 80% rule, but you had one failed attempt already. This was a failed attempt. Because this is yesterday's value area. We traded heavily outside of it, and then we reclaimed it. Tried to retest there, but we failed. So this was a failed attempt. And where did it fail? I keep telling you guys this. When you're going for an 80% rule, you have to pay attention to POC, because the POC can break your trade. So you tried to go for an 80% rule trade here, but the POC broke your trade. So if we can reclaim the POC, it's going to fulfill that 80% rule to 36645. So this was a failed attempt. You could have taken profit on POC, but that's a very small trade, so most likely you did not. So that could have been a break-even trade or a small loss. And now it's going for a new trade. What other types of analysis do I use except volume analysis, and what's the most exotic type of analysis you've heard of? I do all kinds of analysis, really, but I focus mainly on volume profile stuff, price action, candlestick patterns. That's like the bulk of my trading. I use a lot of indicators in my trading, like moving averages, Ichimoku, obviously the proprietary ones that I've designed. What's the most exotic I've heard of? Probably astrology, like people using moon phases and stuff like that. You also have like the math-based technical analysis. Not like Fibonacci, that's pretty standard. There's like more like geometric analysis. You have Elliott wave theory, stuff like that, which I personally think is dog shit. But Elliott wave is like a cult. You either think Elliott wave is dog shit, or you think it's like the greatest thing ever made. JJ, I explained the 80% rule very heavily in the new series that I did. If you watch the How to Trade Volume Profile series, I cover it pretty extensively. But in layman's terms, it's when you have a value area that you've traded outside of, and now you are reclaiming. There is an 80% chance that you will go to the other side. So if you reclaim the low, you can go to the high, and vice versa. It's a very profitable trade, and I think I've seen numerous messages in YouTube chat and in Discord from you guys learning the 80% rule and telling me that you guys are making money using it, so I'm glad to see you guys making some money. Isn't fixed range equal to TPO charts? Fixed range. No, that'd be slightly different. TPO is if you watch my, I think I did it. No, that was after. I thought I had it in my exo charts video, but I think I did it after that. So there's a thing on exo charts. If you guys use it for crypto, you can use a TPO profile, and it colors the profile based on the time of day that that node was being built. So like if you guys are familiar with market profile, it looks like this. You have like letters, like A. Let's say we traded here again, B, B. Then let's say we sold off. Then we have C. It letters them. So like okay, we started here, then we traded sideways, then we went down. With the volume profile, we don't see that, right? This is all just one mess of volume. We don't know where it started, where it ended. TPO does the same thing that market profile does, but instead of lettering it, it gives you the profile and it color codes it. So like maybe the start of the day is blue, and then it goes into green, then it goes into yellow, like whatever your settings are. It's actually very helpful. TradingView does not offer TPO. Young said I was doing a lot of Elliott Wave before switching to market profile. I used to think Elliott was good. To be fair, it does work, but it doesn't feel solid. It can be really subjective. That's the problem. It's extremely subjective. The problem with Elliott Wave is if you got 10 volume profile traders and you put them in the same room and you had them find setups, they would almost all find the same exact setups. And their levels would be exactly the same. If you put 10 Elliott Wave traders in the same room and told them to find setups, they would almost all be different. That is the problem with Elliott Wave. They think their system is so set in stone, but then all of their charts are different. The funny thing about Elliott Wave is, if you want to become a certified market technician, a CMT, and get your license to be like certified as a technical analyst, you have to heavily learn Elliott Wave. Because the boomers love that shit. I was going to get my CMT, and then I talked to a few people that had CMTs, and they all said it was a scam pretty much. They all said it's just like one of those fancy things you can put by your name. Like if you see somebody on Twitter that has CMT next to their name, if it's real, they're not bullshitting. It means they took an extensive course and took a lot of exams to get certified as a technical analyst. The problem with the CMT one is they charge you like all these ridiculous fees, and you have to get people to like approve you and pay even more fees. So it's pretty much a scam.
It's like fucking $250 per exam attempt.
Yeah, it's really it's a scam. 100% a scam. I think we were talking about it last year, weren't we? You were thinking about getting it, and I told you it was a scam.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing it, but yeah.
Yeah.
The educational content I get from you is quite good, so.
Yeah, no, the CMT thing it's pretty scammy. It's very heavily based on like boomer style trading and Elliott Wave stuff. So if you're not interested in that style, it's pointless. The thing with Elliott Wave, I will say, is it has a high ceiling. So the guys that are really good at Elliott Wave, they are very good traders. Like there are a lot of traders that traded like funds, like firms, that are only Elliott Wave guys because there's a very high ceiling. Hughes is breaking the POC of today. Now we need to break the POC of the last few days. Did we still top tick Netflix, or is it going higher? So far, still top ticked it. We sold our shares at 548. The high was 548.39. GoCharts has free TPO. I've used GoCharts like way back in the day when they first started out, but it was pretty clunky when it first started. I haven't tried it since. Elliott Wave and Fibs are helpful for future prediction, and all future predicting tools are subjective. Yeah, that's a very good point. Like relating it to Fibonacci, because Fibonacci is the same way. Like if you got 10 Fibonacci guys into a room and told them to find the fibs on a chart, they would find different fibs. Like I have my own fib technique. Other fib traders have their own fib techniques. I think Fibonacci is far superior to Elliott Wave. I've shown you guys over the years of my streaming how many tops and bottoms we've predicted almost to the dollar using Fibonacci. I put out a video before coronavirus happened, months before coronavirus happened, on how to use my Fibonacci technique. It predicted the top of SPY before the coronavirus dump, I think within like $5, and it was over 100 days in advance. In that same video, we predicted the bottom of Bitcoin by a few, I think it was like less than $100, I think like a couple months in advance. So Fibonacci is very, very strong.
Tesla getting some buyers.
You also have like harmonics trading, which I've only seen one person successfully do. And it's Duck on Twitter. Let me get his Twitter for you guys. He's a very good trader.
I think it's Hyper Bitcoin.
Is it? Let me see. He is the only trader I have ever seen consistently use harmonics.
He does it perfectly.
Yeah, it's Hyper Bitcoins. He's got about 15,000 followers. He's exploded. He had like 3,000 last year. But that's harmonics trading. It's very similar to Fibonacci. It uses mathematical ratios. So far, Q's is failing the POC of yesterday. Pretty hard, actually. Young said, I don't know if this helps, but TPO, but for TPO, the way I found it easy to look at is Tokyo session is TPO AB, London session is TPO CD, US session is TPO DZ. Two TPOs tend to react to each other. Yeah. Yeah, so I had mine color-coded, and I have my layouts, actually, in Discord, if you guys are using ExoCharts. I can't remember how I had mine color-coded. It was like every few hours, mine would change colors. Yeah, Nihal, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is all trading. But the beautiful thing about fibs being a self-fulfilling prophecy, it's mathematically based. So the only thing subjective is where to put the points. The mathematical formula after you find the points is always going to be the same. The thing that all Fibonacci traders can really agree on is, like, if I was going to take a fib from today's price action, this looks like a 618 test, by the way. Just by looking at this, I can tell you this is a 618 test. So if a Fibonacci trader looked at this, almost every Fibonacci trader would grab the low here, and they would grab the high here. That is the basics of Fibonacci. And like I said, without even pulling that, I could tell you that's a 618 test, because that's visually, once you've done this for hundreds of hours, you can see that that is about 60% of the trend, right? So if you guys follow my technique, this, well, it's not exactly my technique. It's used off of a very old technique. But I expanded on it. So like this is the buy zone. People call this the golden ratio on 618. I expanded that to this being the buy zone, but then I expanded that again to if you grab the buy zone, the golden ratio of the golden ratio. So like this little zone right here, this is my technique. That is where you would have bought based on Fibonacci. And it would have been a very good entry. Now, one thing I've seen a lot of people do wrong, and they try to argue about this. You cannot argue about this. And what it is instead of grabbing the fib from left to right, they grab the fib from right to left. This is mathematically incorrect. You cannot argue this and say that it works. There are a lot of traders that do their fibs backwards, and it's mathematically incorrect. It does not work. Because this is a Fibonacci sequence, right? The 618 is a retracement, meaning price has to retrace where it's already been. This is a 61.8% retrace. If you flip the fib and you go from right to left, this is not a 61.8% retrace, right? That says it's a 38.2%. That's mathematically incorrect. So just know that if you guys are doing your fibs backwards, you need to stop and do them properly. Nasty rejection of yesterday's POC on Qs. This is also the value area low of yesterday on SPY. So a lot of resistance up here. If you guys want to learn more about Fibonacci, I have a video in my playlist. It's called How to Trade Bull and Bear Flags Using Fibonacci, I think it's called. That's the video that predicted the top of SPY and the bottom of Bitcoin over 100 days in advance. So for any of you guys that think it's hindsight, feel free to watch that video. I also talk about in that video how I use the prime fib, the 0.13 fib. That fib is extremely helpful for breakout trading. It's what I call the fake out fib. You guys have probably heard me say on stream the fake out level. That's like, so like if I took this fib here and like we were looking for a breakout trade on Qs, this is like the fake out zone. So like if it were to break out and then like top out, that's a fake out, right? The 0.13 is the prime fib. It's a fib number and a prime number. Once you break through 0.13, you're safe to go to 0.5, 0.618. So like if you pop above here and then pull back, this is a bullish pullback. This is not a fake out because you've popped above the prime fib, the fake out level. And then if we pull back, that's actually a bullish move and then we could push higher. If you start using that on like all of your breakout trades, it doesn't work every single time. But you'll start seeing a lot of trades where they don't break through the 0.13 fib and then it tops out and it just starts to nuke, right? And you could have saved yourself from buying that breakout. It's also what I call a weak high. If you guys hear me say weak high on stream, that's what I mean. I mean it's a high that is not breaking the 0.13 fib. So like this right here was a weak high. You tried to break out of this high here, but it didn't break out enough. So like if you took the fib, this actually didn't even test the level. So it kind of double topped. But like if you were looking at this smaller move, something like that, it's still a double top. But yeah, if this would have broke out and then topped out somewhere around like 441.40, that would have been a weak high. I'll see if I can find an example. I think there was one on Apple recently. Wasn't there one on Apple on the daily? Yeah, Apple daily. So look at this. You can take multiple fibs here. Like if you're a short-term trader, you could take like the short-term impulse, something like this. If you're the longer-term trader, you would take probably the massive impulse like this, right? Both of which gave you a fake out. You tried to break the high and then retested backward. So like the short-term guy, like if you took like this, it's probably easier on like a 1 hour. Like if we take this level here, you can see how we failed that 0.13 fib and then nuked. And now look at where we're bouncing. We're bouncing right off the 618, the golden ratio. So once again, if you use that same thing that I just showed you, this is the buy zone. This is the buy zone of the buy zone. If you want to code this in or like put this into the actual fib, it's right around, like here I can show you. It's right around like 55. I think it's like 55 or 57. Oops. Let me delete all this stuff. Yeah, like 57. Like right around that area. 55, 57. Probably be easier if I did it on this one, not the smaller one. Yeah, so that's a little high. It's probably around 57. Yeah, there you go. Right around 57 is right where that area would be. The buy zone of the buy zone. All right, let's go back to SPY here. Alan said, if you would have bought your golden buy zone on SPY, you would have bottom ticked it well within 5 cents. You mean on the day? Like just on today's price action? Let me take a look. You can use Magna mode too. Magna mode helps get like the exact fib. So like if we take Magna mode here. Yeah, it actually goes a little lower on SPY. It goes lower by about 50 cents. But yeah, if you base it on close, you would have got a damn good entry.
With Bitcoin ripping, MicroStrategy's vertical.
Missing actually, you said you're finally here early for once. The stream's actually going to close here in about 10-15 minutes. Yeah, Alan, that's like a deep buy zone. You would need like a swing failure for that buy zone to work. Going to the 786 to the 618. I actually don't use the 786. I don't like that fib. I used to heavily trade Fibonacci on Bitcoin, and I found the 786 fib was, how do I put this? It was like If it got down to the 786 fib, it was usually bad. You wanted it to bounce on the 618. So I tried to ignore the 786. A lot of times you would have like a 786 bounce, and then it would pop back up into the 618 or the 50%, and then it would fail. It'd be like a dead cat bounce. But if it bounced off the 618, it would go all the way back to the previous high. So you wanted to buy the 618, you did not want to buy the 786. If you're trading purely on fib, the 618 is where I determine the trend is flipping. So like if we start to find value below the 618, the trend is bearish. You're losing this uptrend completely. As long as you hold this area here, I consider this uptrend to still be intact. Even though we're kind of getting weak here, based on fib, this is still intact. But if we lose this, then it's not. Q's is failing the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, and SPY is just barely missing it, but still failing. Missing in action. You could say you're missing in action. You can always go back and watch my live streams as well. So don't worry about being late. Sorry, Omen, I just saw your message. You said, I missed the beginning today. Looks bad for ES. 3 volume area low rejections. Am I correct? Let's take a look. I think you mean value area high. Did I read that right? Value area low? Yeah, this would be the value area high. Value area high today is rejecting. Unless you mean like down here somewhere. Do I trade live on Discord? Yes, I call out damn near all of my trades. The only trades I do not put in my channel are very small scalps. If I'm scalping like SPY or Qs, day trading, I don't put those in my channel. Because scalping, you guys can't blindly follow me on scalping. They're too quick. If you guys just try to blindly follow and you don't have the proper risk management, it's just going to go very poorly. So I don't put my scalps in the channel. Occasionally, I will tell you guys in voice chat if you guys are hanging out in voice chat, if I'm like longing a bottom or buying or selling. A lot of the times, I'm keeping my scalps to myself. But like today I closed my Netflix trade. I told you guys exactly when I was closing. We closed damn near the top. And I opened up a Q's trade. I told you guys when I was opening that. And we opened damn near the bottom. So for all my longer term stuff or like my midterm stuff, I post exactly when I'm taking those trades. That is for our higher tier stuff. So if you guys are in the 199 tier or the 499 tier, you guys get voice chat and you get our channels where we post our trades. If you guys are just in the $30 tier, it's only $1 a day. We post all of our analysis, our daily analysis, and I also post different trade ideas throughout the day in the analysis channel. But I don't specifically say like, hey guys, I'm longing this, I'm selling this, I'm opening this. That is the higher tiers. The lower tier, you guys mainly just get analysis and trade ideas, which is well worth $1 a day, I think. I gave you guys a beautiful trade on Netflix. If you guys have been following the watch list, I gave you guys numerous trades the past few weeks. DoorDash, Snow, we gave you guys Square, Zoom was a big one. What else did we talk about recently? All the shipping plays have been massive. Any broker you know worldwide to trade U.S. stocks? I don't know worldwide. It's all based on countries. I know Tastyworks, the people that we use, are available in most places in Europe. I do know that. I think they're available in like Australia, but I don't know about Eastern Asia. Like if you guys are more like closer to India or China or anywhere over there, I have no idea. If you guys are Americans, we mainly use TD Ameritrade and Tastyworks. Could ES just be putting in the head of the Bulldog here? Yes, let's take a look. You mean on, like, what time frame? Like a daily or something? What are we talking about here? Oh, you mean this one here. I see what you're saying. This one here. This is very clean. Yes, this could be a head of the Bulldog. The only problem is this is a Bulldog off of a high. These Bulldogs are a lot weaker. The best Bulldog is off of a low, like this. When the Bulldog is like this, they're not as good. So yes, if it bounces here, it could be a Bulldog, but it's going to be a weaker Bulldog. Probably around like 50, 55%, somewhere like anywhere from 50 to 60. The bottom Bulldogs, you could put those higher than 70 to 80% win rate. You're from India? What's a stockbroker you use in India that can trade US stocks? The broker here is sick. They charge $20 per order and $20 to $40 per trade. Jesus. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's getting rugged for sure. We pay at Tastyworks. What is it? It's 75 cents to open per contract, but then like $1 to close or something like that. It's not bad. The only high fees Americans have is on OTC, like when you're trading penny stocks. And even then, it's not that bad. It's like it caps out at like $7 to $15. What's a Bulldog? A Bulldog is when you have a double bottom and then you pop up and you put in a head. It looks like a dog. Like these are your legs. This is your back, and then that's your head. We have a whole zoo in the Discord. We have snakes. We have giraffes. What else do we have? We have the Bulldogs with a wiener. When it has like a move down, then it pops back up. We've got a camel when it has like two backs. Yeah, you got the turtle. The turtle is like when it has like a really small back. We trade zoo animals and people think we're joking. We have a wildlife sanctuary. We really do. Yeah, JJ, we currently have a discount. If you're a new member and you want to join the Discord, you can use code LEARN, LEARN, all caps. It will give you about 20% off for your first month. I was also about to just give you guys a new promotion for the $30 tier as well. If you guys want to join the $30 tier, if you guys join today or tomorrow, it doesn't normally come with indicators, but if you guys join and where it asks you guys who referred you, just put YouTube and then put what indicator you would like to use for the month that you're joining, and I'll give you guys access to one of our indicators. So I'll say that again. If you guys join the $30 tier today or tomorrow, when it asks you who referred you, just put YouTube and then put whichever indicator you want to use, and I'll give you guys access. But all right, guys, I'm going to call it on that. We went over a lot of stuff today, so hopefully you guys learned something. Did a lot of Fibonacci stuff today. Did more volume profile stuff as always. If you guys have any questions on that, just feel free to put in the comments. If you guys want to learn more about Fibonacci, I have a video on that in my How to Trade playlist. It is the How to Trade Bull and Bear Flags Using Fibonacci, I believe it's called. It has Fibonacci in the title, so just look for the one with Fibonacci. And then obviously, if you guys haven't seen any of the other videos on that playlist, go check them out. There's about 25 videos on there for you guys to learn from. So definitely will help you out. If you guys are new here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube. I stream 5 days a week, 3 p.m. Eastern. We will be streaming tomorrow, same time as always. If you guys are in Discord, I will be posting analysis later tonight, sometime around 9, 10 o'clock. If you guys join up now, make sure to check the analysis channel. It's just called analysis. It's in the OTG analysis section. That is the main channel you guys want to focus on. That's where I post our daily watch list every single day. And then throughout the day, I post trade ideas as well. So make sure to check that later tonight or sometime tomorrow morning. And you guys will have all the plays that we are watching. But all right, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning if you're in Discord, or tomorrow afternoon for the stream. Peace out, guys.